All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about someone truly complex, Carnage one and only. He's this incredible mix of an artist, an activist, and honestly, a philosopher. And his whole story? It's all about turning the worst kinds of pain into something beautiful, something powerful. It's a story of total transformation.
And right off the bat, he tells you exactly what he's about. This quote, it's basically his mission statement. He's saying, look, I'm not here to preach at you. He's here to, well, to remind you of something he thinks you already know, deep down, especially if you're part of the younger generation.
And that really gets to the heart of it, this idea of alchemy, you know? He takes all this raw, messy, painful stuff from life, trauma, struggle, you name it. And he doesn't just get by. No, he transforms it. He literally turns it into music, into action in his community, into a whole way of looking at the world. This is who he is, right at his core.
But, okay, to really get who he is now, we gotta go back. We have to look at where he came from, at the identity he was practically forged in. We're talking about his early persona, Carnage.
And look, this wasn't just some stage name, you know? It was his reality, the whole Carnage identity. It was like a shield, a weapon even. It was built out of pure conflict, just so he could survive. He felt like he was in this constant fight against, well, against everything. Systems, his own past, it all felt like it was designed to hold him down.
And a huge piece of that fight was against something he calls the chains of jargon. Think about it. He saw how all these bureaucratic systems use this super complicated language, all these acronyms for stuff like income levels. He realized it wasn't meant to make things clearer. Nope, it was meant to confuse people. It's like building a wall out of words so you can't even figure out what your rights are or what power you actually have.
And this is where it gets really interesting. He pointed out this massive contradiction, right? The system is laser-focused, super precise, when it's labeling your suffering with these neat little acronyms. But the second you ask, hey, so where's the money going? Where are the solutions? Suddenly, everything gets fuzzy and complicated. And his whole point is that this isn't an accident. It's not a bug in the system. It's a feature. It's designed that way, to keep control.
But then, everything changed. There was this one moment, a moment that completely shifted his path. It was like a way out of the storm and into, well, a new dawn. This is where we get to the story of the rainbow.
So try to picture this, okay? He's sitting there with his guitar, but nothing's coming out. The music just isn't there. He's totally lost, just crushed by the weight of his past. And that old Carnage identity, all that chaos, it's whispering in his ear, this is it. This is all you are. He's right on the edge of getting dragged back into the darkness. And right at that moment, his 5-year-old daughter, Serenity, just climbs up onto his knee. And she doesn't try to give him advice or cheer him up, nothing like that. She just says something. Something so simple, so profound, it just completely shattered his world. In one sentence, she completely rewrote his entire past for him.
Think about the power of that metaphor. A rainbow doesn't get rid of the storm, right? In fact, you literally can't have a rainbow without a storm. What she was telling him was that his messy, chaotic past, it wasn't something to be ashamed of. It was the thing that had to happen for her, his light, to exist. She was the living, breathing proof that he'd already made it through.
And that realization, it changed everything about his art. That hard, defensive shell of Carnage started to crack, to soften. His music got way more vulnerable, way more honest. He started talking about his flaws, not because he was weak, but as proof of just how powerful that moment of love and redemption really was.
So now, armed with this totally new sense of who he was, his whole philosophy shifted. He went from trying to fight the system to just rising above it. He started living by a brand new rule, personal sovereignty.
So what does that even mean, sovereignty? In his world, it's a huge mindset shift. It's about stop asking some faceless authority for permission or for help, and instead just building your own power right where you are. It's waking up and realizing, hey, I have the right to solve my own problems. I have the power to define my own reality.
And this wasn't just some big idea he'd talk about. For him, sovereignty was something you do. It's a practice. And man, he put that philosophy into action right away, in a really concrete, practical way.
Check this out. This letter is the perfect example. He was dealing with some bureaucratic nonsense for his nonprofit. Things were getting delayed. And did he just sit around and wait? No way. He sent this certified letter. And just look at the language he uses. Formal written notice, the demand,
the consequence. He's not asking for anything. He is telling them how it's going to be. And that's sign-off. With sovereign authority, that says it all. He's not playing their game. He's creating his own.
So, okay, he's been through the fire, he's healed himself. What's next? He turned his focus outward. It's like the classic hero's return, you know? You go through the journey, you gain all this wisdom, and then you bring it back to help rebuild your home, your community.
And that's exactly what he did. He started the Ground Up Hope Collective. It's his whole philosophy made real. These guys, they don't wait for permission slips. They just go out and clean up neighborhoods, they turn ugly graffiti into beautiful murals, they host events with hot meals and great music. Because he doesn't see the kids in his community as problems that need fixing. He sees them as phoenixes, just waiting for the chance to rise from the ashes.
But you might be wondering, why such an intense focus on young people? What's the big rush? Well, the answer comes down to one single, pretty shocking number.
50%. Half. Think about that. Half of all mental illness starts before someone even turns 14 years old. For him, that's not just a number on a page. That's a call to arms. It's why he's so passionate about getting in there early, planting those seeds of hope before the storm gets too big to handle. He's literally trying to build a world where more kids get to see their rainbow.
At the end of the day, the story of Carnage One Only is this powerful reminder that your past doesn't get the final say on your future. And it kind of leaves you with a question to chew on, doesn't it? Who or what is your anchor when things get rough? When those storm clouds start gathering? What's your rainbow? The thing that reminds you that, hey, you've made it through storms before.